A pleasant day, everyone. Welcome to Teacher Tinitin's classroom. This is Mrs. Christine C. Tuano, your English teacher for the day. So, English 10, Quarter 3 is all about argumentative essay. So, this is the third part of our lesson in composing an argumentative essay. The first part is all about writing the thesis statement and the importance of the thesis statement in gathering the evidences or data for our essay. The second part, it talks about the parts of an essay and how we can develop our introduction, body using the SEW method, and of course, our conclusion. So for now, we're going to talk about transitional devices in composing an argumentative essay. As we said, our goal is to compose an argumentative essay. However, it is very important that we have to have linkages or cohesion in our essay. And this is where transitional devices comes in. So to be able to achieve it, the following objectives would help. First, we have to identify the importance of transitional devices. Next, we have to differentiate transitional devices. And lastly, use transitional devices to connect ideas or sentences in writing an essay. So what is a transitional device? Transitional device is also known as linking words or connectors. These are words or phrases or sentences that connect ideas and paragraphs in writing a piece of writing. And of course, it helps us to make the writing flow smoothly and make it easier for the reader to follow your argument. It is important that we use transitional devices because it helps us organize our thoughts and ideas. And they can also help us to create a more sophisticated and cohesive piece of writing. So in this lesson, we're going to discuss the four different types of transitional devices that you can use in writing your essay. So first is conjunction, second is adverbs. Next is we're going to talk about prepositions, and lastly is transitional phrases, which I briefly discussed also in the second part of our lesson, although it was not a thorough one. So, what are conjunctions? So, conjunctions are simply words that connect clauses and sentences, such as and, but, or yet, so, for, and nor. Example is I love playing tennis, but I also enjoy swimming. So, here we use the conjunction but. We have actually three different types of conjunctions. The first one is the coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions join together words and phrases and independent clauses. So there's actually an acronym so that you can remember what coordinating conjunctions are. And this is the fun boys. Fun boys stands for F for, which explains reason or purpose. A and adds one thing to another, and nor, which we use to present an alternative negative idea to an already stated negative idea. B, but, which shows contrast. O, or, presents an alternative or a choice. Y, yet, which introduces a contrasting idea that follows the preceding idea logically. And S, so, which indicates effect, result, or consequence. Example, soccer is entertaining in winter, but it's better in the heat of summer. So, since we use the word but, we know that this sentence has a contrasting idea. So, what is the contrasting idea? The contrasting ideas are winter and summer. Now, let's go to the second part, which is the subordinating conjunction. Subordinating conjunctions introduces a dependent clause tying it to an independent clause. Take note that in the first one, coordinating conjunctions were combining in two independent clauses. Thus, we're creating compound sentences. In subordinating conjunction, we're combining dependent and independent clause, which tells us that we are making or we are creating a complex sentence. So there's so many subordinating conjunctions in English. The common ones are although, as, because, before, how, if, once, since, then, until, when, whenever, whereas, whether, and while and why. So example is everything will fall into place if you start at the beginning. So here the independent clause, or what we call as the main clause, is everything will fall into place. So this is our independent clause. And our dependent or subordinating clause is if you start at the beginning. So the second part, if you start at the beginning, is our dependent or subordinating clause. The last type of conjunction that we're going to discuss is the correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction come in pairs, and each word from the pair appears in a sentence to make them work. So example, both and, whether or, either or, neither nor, not but, not only but also. So let's take a look at the example. Not only bullying affects the physical health, but it also affects the bullied mentally. So the first sentence, not only bullying affects the physical health, was combined by the use not, and the second one, but it also affects the bullied mentally, is the second sentence. So we combine them using the correlative conjunctions not and but. The next type of transitional device that we're going to discuss are the adverbs. Take note that we're not talking about simple adverbs here, but we're talking about conjunctive adverbs. So what are conjunctive adverbs? Basically, we know that words that modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs are called adverbs. But words like however, therefore, nevertheless, consequently, meanwhile, and furthermore are conjunctive adverbs. Let's have this example. However, I do not have enough time to play tennis and swim every day. So the word however here is our conjunctive adverb. Now what does it modify? It modifies I do not have enough time to play tennis and swim every day. So it tells us that it is describing the sentence itself. Okay? Now let's go to the third one, which is the prepositions. Prepositions are basically words that indicate relationships between nouns or pronouns and other words in a sentence, such as in addition to, besides, because of, due to, despite, and in spite of. Example, in addition to playing sports, I also enjoy reading books. So we're talking about the relationship of playing sports and his love for reading or his enjoyment to reading books. The last one are the transitional phrases. Transitional phrases are simply phrases that indicates a shift from one idea or topic to another, such as on the other hand, in contrast, for example, and conclusion, and as a result. Example, in contrast to playing sports, reading books allow me to relax and unwind. And that ends our lesson on transitional devices. Take note that it is important to use transitional devices appropriately and consistently throughout your essay to ensure that your writing is easy and clear to follow. So, do not forget to use transitional devices to make your essay more professional and or more organized. And that ends our discussion. Thank you for your time and attention. God bless everyone.